This episode is brought to you by Leo Bato and Associates, ang realtor na patok. This episode is brought to you by Dr. Lourdes Capulong.
I'm completely 100% independent.
Let's talk about that because
Yeah.
that's a good route to go with, and I'm pretty sure songwriters and aspiring artists listening to this would love to hear from you, me included.
Yeah.
When you went fully independent, what are the things you anticipated? What are the things you forgot to anticipate that slammed on your face that we have to be aware of?
Right. Well, I think the only reason that I considered doing it 100% independent and like, okay, I'm a singer from a band. I'll write some songs, see if I can go get a deal, right? I'll go see if I can sign with a label and do that whole thing. Just because my experience working with labels is that you give up so much, right? I mean, and it's not just money, it's just control and I mean, it's really control, I mean, a lot of decisions are going to be made without
Consulting you.
consorting you and just a lot of control over like, look, this is what we're doing. And if you have a problem with it, then
Goodbye.
bye. Yeah. So, but, and I think if it were the 90s, I would have to do that. Right. I mean, cause in the 90s, if you wanted to release a song or an album, you had to sign with a major label because otherwise there was no other way to get your album onto a record shelf, to sell to that guy in Munich, Germany.
Right.
To get onto that shelf there. Now with, Apple and Spotify and all that, there are no shelves that have limited space. It's infinite now.
Yes.
So that is the biggest issue has always been distribution. Funny enough, that is the biggest thing. So when Napster happened, that destroyed distribution, right?
Yep.
Because now it wasn't about, are you going to be on, because I used to be a kid trying to talk the guy at the local record store to put my CD up on the counter.
Wow.
But that would be the only place you could buy my album, right? There wasn't an internet, right? So there was no way to be able to go and download the album, if you lived in Spain and you wanted it, right? So, so things have changed. So these days you can go out and you can have a presence worldwide. Right, you can record a song and people in the Philippines can buy it. Right,
Yes,
they can stream it, and they do, which is awesome.
Yes,
and I can do it all myself, and I have control over it. Right, so that's been a big part of it for me. Is just I'm much more in control of my own destiny.
But then again, there's no advance royalties anymore.
There's not.
That's a caviat that we have to be aware of.
Yes, it's true. But there are also now ways that you can market yourself. I mean, I have spent quite a few years now teaching myself internet marketing, e-commerce with a real specific kind of weight as to being an actual artist selling music and songs. Right. So
by the way, people are actually the thing that people are looking at right now is your QR code.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Right? That's what they're seeing right now on the screen.
Right. So this is this is an interesting thing about music. So this QR code is going to take you to my Patreon page, which is my community subscription. Right. And basically it's for people who hopefully are enjoying my music so much that they want to go deeper and know more about everything that goes into making those songs and also like, hey, what are you doing during the day? What was it like being in the recording studio? What was it like being on tour? What did you and your wife do on your honeymoon? That kind of thing.
So even the vlog is on the Patreon?
Yeah, I mean, it's all there. I mean, I'm actually going to start a podcast series that's just going to be, maybe I can interview you.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would love that. So, but it's going to be just for my Patreon community only, right? So it's going to be a very, very small knit thing. But it's, because being an artist is much more than just singing some songs, right? I mean, I think that, everybody has a story. Like, you're a very interesting person. I could talk all day with you like this, right? I love this. It's great. And I find it entertaining and interesting, right? So I think that for artists, it's about creating a whole culture about who you are. It's not, so people have a better understanding of why you write the songs and why you sound the way you do and why you do the things that you do. And
And that's important.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
the why.
Yeah, I mean, because think of all the artists and musicians that we grew up, we love. I loved knowing more about who they were as people
and why they did what they did.
Exactly. You know, and I mean, I spend a lot of time, I do updates because I'm working on an album. So I'm constantly putting out updates and being in the studio or writing a song. I mean, even if it's just me trying to figure out a tuning on a guitar, and I'll just put a camera on and be like, do you like this or do you like this better? You know, and as dumb as it sounds, my wife's like, really? That's what you're sharing? I'm like, yeah, no, I am. But
This episode is brought to you by ABBA e-Services.
But for people really into it, they love that kind of access to see why your process of
behind the scenes,
right? That behind the scenes. So, and so my wife Min she's a sculptor, right? So she's a director. She's done so many things. She's
does she do clay?
She does clay. She does clay, and then she has
like clay, pottery clay. Has she done that?
No, well, I think she has. It's not her thing, but
have you guys done ghost?
Oh no. Although. We should though, because I did cover.
The Righteous Brothers.
Yeah, I did. So
you guys should do that whole ghost.
That's not a bad idea. I love the way you think, because I did cover Unchained Melody, because I did an album of covers about 3 or 4 years ago, and the first song on that album is Unchained Melody. And so this is so there's an interesting thing. So along that line of like, okay, so you're an independent artist and you're trying to get your music out there. So what did I do? I'm like, well, I just put this album out with covers. I'm like, what's the first song? Well, it's Unchained Melody. Okay, cool. So Min had filmed me singing in the studio recording. So we used a small clip of me singing the chorus to the song, or verse to chorus, whatever it was. And then I had this clip, and then I go to Facebook and I get into their ads manager, right? I mean, so we're going deep, right? Already, we're in the ads manager in Facebook, and I'm putting that video out, and I'm marketing it to people who like ballads, who like the movie Ghost. Right? Right? Okay.
Patrick Swayze.
Exactly. So I'm thinking like who might enjoy this song, who's never heard of me before ever, right? And so that's what it's all about. It's going and finding your audience, and then bringing those people in, and having more than just playing some songs for them. It's really creating a culture around who you are as a person, and sharing that with them, and and giving them access so that they can chat with you online or whatever it is, and so they they want to come see you play. They want to they want to download your music. They want to stream you on Spotify, and then now next thing you know, you're creating a career out of that.
Yes.
So
how okay. That being said, like you mentioned, men helping out with this. How important is it to have your wife, your partner, your life partner with you all the way on this journey?
Oh, it's everything. Because if she and I were stuck doing separate things, that would be tough. One of us would have to probably acquiesce somehow, and in order to maintain a relationship, which is how it is sometimes. I mean, you have to make choices. But in this case, Min and I, like this Patreon page that the QR code was up, Min and I both do it. So because we do so many things together, and we're constantly kind of sharing our own, we're helping each other with different things. So all of her art, she does all of my music. Most of the music videos I've done in the last 10, 12 years.
Were shot by her?
Were done by her. And they're the best ones I've ever done. They're amazing. I mean, she's so brilliant. It's ridiculous. So we do everything together. I mean, obviously there are days where I'm in the studio, and there are days where she's, sculpting an ancient Egyptian dog or something like that, and she's explaining how she does it. But that's all in our Patreon community. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on. I mean, obviously I want people to hopefully listen to me on Spotify and those things, because that's all part of, keeping the machine running. But, anyway, I mean, that's just it's just a brave new world out there for musicians, and you don't have to be signed to a label in order to be successful. In fact, the idea is that you do so well on your own, which is kind of how labels are signing people these days. People are doing so well on their own because they know how to operate TikTok really well and get their songs out, and they sing, and next thing you know, they got 1 million followers. Labels are like, oh, they've already got an audience. It's all about building an audience. That's really what it is. It's just finding people that are interested in seeing and hearing what you're doing, and there are 1 million ways to do it. It takes some time and work, but you can do it.